Good evening, good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to another video. It's Stephen here on Friday the 18th of July ahead of the weekend, and it's gone sunny again. It's gone nice. How you doing? I am rocking the new away kit here. Look, I'll be honest with you, the sizing was a bit weird. I'm normally just a large. The large feels a bit small on me. The XL was ridiculously big. I justify it as a sort of work expense given I do these videos, but I was a little bit off-putting by the sizing, being honest. It felt, this is like a large on me. I know it looks fine, but trust me, it just feels a bit small. But either way, I do love this kit. I think it's lovely. I think it's a really nice kit. It just feels, I wish it was a little bit bigger. It's a little bit bigger because it's just slightly short on my arms. You'll see what I mean. But either way, I am rocking it, and I will be wearing it a lot with shorts this summer. Absolutely, because I think it's a very nice kit. And one day I'll hand it down to my sons very happily because it's a beautiful shirt. I'll do a full review, I think probably on tomorrow or something like that. Hello to Nicholas, to Nucleus, to Michael, to Yusuf, to Oliver, to Alfie in the chat. It's good to see you guys here. I'll be chatting about Ederson and Akanji today and loads of other things, I'm sure. Please give the video a like. Please subscribe if you are new to the channel. So this is a little bit of information coming out of Galatasaray and the Turkish media. Now, I'll go over to City Extra regarding Ederson. According to L'Equipe, Galatasaray have submitted a €3 million bid for City's Ederson, which is an absurdly cheap amount of money. Yeah, so there we go. This is what they said here. Offered €3 million to sign City's Brazilian goalkeeper Ederson. He's under contract until the end of next season in England. I'll try and read the article and see if it pops up. Nope, you have to subscribe to it. It's an incredibly cheap amount either way. It's so specifically cheap that it makes me think this might actually be true. I'll go over to it as well. There's an account here who I presume, sorry, I don't know. I presume this is Arabic, called Aziz. Anyway, either way, he posts a lot of stuff, information as well, aggregates it as well, and there's loads of news about Ederson as well coming out of Turkey. He's following all the aggregators over there. Let me find the translation. Apparently, yeah, Taffarel, legend Taffarel, Brazilian #1. Actually, he was the keeper for Brazil when I was growing up. Actually, he's been a big part of convincing him to come. So basically, Galatasaray's strongest candidate is Ederson. Yeah, he agreed to drop his fee a little bit apparently, and he's coming to Turkey apparently, according to all these reports kicking around right now. So here we go. This is another bit here. It says Pablo Oliveira, Brazilian journalist, said Galatasaray has reached an agreement with Ederson for a salary of €6 million and a contract for 3 years plus an additional year. City want 10 million to sell Brazilian, while Galatasaray offer is 5 million. Negotiations are ongoing between the clubs. Yeah, I mean, I think this is probably true. I think there isn't going to be a lot of money on this. I thought it'd be a little bit higher, but I would guess that City probably feel that they've got the value out of this guy, and given the fact that he leaves in a free on a year, they're probably very happy to get Diego Costa or someone like that in and actually move on. And honestly, in my opinion of this, I'm really happy with it too. Like I think Ederson's a fantastic player, an absolute certified Manchester City legend. We do not achieve what we do over the past 8-9 years with him in a Manchester City shirt without Ederson being a part of that. He is an absurdly talented footballer, a unique goalkeeper, and in my opinion, one of the best in Premier League history for City at least. I know he's not maybe the greatest shot stopper the league's ever seen, but in terms of how he played, he absolutely transformed this league. The league is different because Ederson exists, and he will go down as a City great, rightfully. However, there were some rumours, of course, the summer before last summer even, that he was going to move on to the Saudi League, and it felt like it never happened after we won 4 in a row. And you know, he came out, he's going to go to the Saudi League for big money. He seemingly, looked a little bit set back when Ortega played a few games towards the end of that season with the Spurs save. He looked like he struggled a little bit with his pride, maybe. I don't really know, but either way, it got a little bit messy. And he looked like he was about to go, but then he had to sort of roll it back when it never happened and said, he always wanted to be here. It was very obvious he wasn't true. Very obvious he wanted to leave. In my humble opinion, he's never looked fully happy since then. Look, he played okay last year at points, but I can't help but see someone, who looks like, who's checked out a little bit mentally. And ultimately, I don't think there's any more we can really get from Ederson. I don't think that's unfair to say. I think it's fair to say more or less most people have been involved in this entire run. Largely, he's getting on a little bit now. Ederson, how old is he? Is he 31, 32? Some more news here. Yeah, I mean, I think this is almost certainly true. There's some Akanji news. We'll get onto that a little bit. But either way, it's one of those things. Well, I think the Turkish press are big on it for a reason. I think they know what's going on there. So the Turkish press are all going around and picking up on it. Loads of Turkish people are picking up on it and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I think it's the right time. How old is Ederson? Let me double check. I think he's 31, is he, or 32? He is 31. He turns 32 actually a month today, so he'll be 32 at the start of the season. Okay, so he's not getting any younger. I know it's not old for a goalkeeper, but you know he would have been here for 8 years at this point, many seasons, and I think that they've sort of accepted that, you know, the wages that he's got, which will be very high, they just fancy sort of moving on a little bit because he wants to go. I don't really believe that noise, DC92. I think he was being very... I think he was sort of putting things to bed a little bit ahead of a potentially difficult summer, given last year it all happened and it got very messy and so on. Look, I think that was just sort of PR, if I'm being honest, mate. I think Ederson has planned to go for a while now, and we're finally seeing the fruits of those intentions, I guess. Yeah, but I think Ederson last season was fine occasionally, but I think he was prone to switching off a little bit. He's always been a little bit, but more than usual. There was a few assists, actually, but I do feel, you know, that there's been a souring of relationships. Of course, there was a lot of abuse online, which is bloody nonsense for what it's worth. I can't begin to put it in words how much of an absolute knobhead I think you are if you're abusing Ederson, like spamming his wife's Instagram profile with Ederson out, which is not technically abuse. It is. It's sort of mild online harassment. It's weird. It's truly weird, immature behaviour, and I can't stress this enough. These are actual people. These are real people doing their job with families, and I've seen people come at Nicola online just because she's linked to me as a YouTuber, and it's weird behaviour because these are real people who've done nothing wrong. So when people start doing that, and if you've done that and you're watching this, I honestly think you're a bad freak. Absolutely nonsense. These are real people who live, you know, real lives and have family, and it gets to people. It does. And if you're happy with that, you're a bad person. You're a truly bad person if you're happy with it. So all that stuff is absolutely nonsense. I understand frustration at performances. It's fine. But don't go spamming someone's social media. Never mind their family. That's vindictive. To go at their wife as well, that is genuinely vindictive. It's digging at people. It's digging. It goes beyond protestations, and people never seem to be able to separate criticism from snidiness. Oh, I'm allowed to criticise. No, that's not criticising. That's snide. You're essentially knocking on their online house and just going at them and no, it's different. It's different, man. It's just being snide. It's like, yeah, so basically, I want to say anyone's doing that is an absolute knobhead. That clearly got to him a little bit. He disabled his Instagram comments, or did he go private or something like that? Either way, he came off social media a little bit. He got a bit of a mess. And I think, honestly, it's not really been the same since then, to be honest. But I think he wanted to go anyway, long before that. I don't want to give those Twitter trolls, the Instagram trolls, the credit. They didn't change his mind. I think he was already going anyway. But yeah, you know, I just I want to call it out because I think it's weird behaviour. These people are real human beings, and we're in an age of decency disparity. Like, it's one of those things where, like, previously people would have respect for other people online, and they don't anymore. And like they treat these people like they're just pieces of meat to be stabbed and battered and, you know, tossed about. And it's not true. There are human beings away from that. And look, people can have an awful lot of money and be very successful. Doesn't mean they are immune to criticism and all this kind of stuff. So just get rid of that. But yeah, I think unfortunately we've moved on, and I think Ederson is going to go there. And look, the replacements potentially, you know, Diego Costa, Lucas Chevalier, or James Trafford, people like that. I think they're all smart potential signings. I'm sort of relaxed. I'm just a firm believer right now in moving on. I think we should move on. I just think we are. I think that's where we're at. We're at the move on stage from the treble. And I think separating from the past is good for everyone. I think it's good for City. I think it's good for Guardiola. I think it's good for the fans. I think it's good for everyone. And I think you can definitely hold on a little bit. Sometimes a clean break can be good for all involved. I think Ederson wants it. At that point, if the player wants it, there's no point holding on. And he's done everything he can do at City. Yeah, this is the authentic version. But well, this is it's not a fake, if that's what you mean. It's a replica. I don't ever buy the expensive. Well, they're all expensive now. It's not the player issue one, if that makes sense, but it's a real one, if that makes sense, from JD Sports. You know, it's not cheap these days, but at least I can justify it as a work expense in inverted commas, given the YouTube stuff. It's so expensive though, man. I like it though. As I was saying, the fit is weird. It feels really tight. So yeah, Galatasaray would be a good move for him, playing in a league, of course, that's got a fair bit of money now, for what it's worth. It's like 80 quid, Yana Moran. Like, 85 quid or something stupid like that. If you've got a City supporters number, you can go to the City store. You can get 10% off at least, which is 70 something then at least. But it's a stupid amount of money. Well, as I said, I only justify it as a work expense because I collect kits as well. I collect them all. 10% off your season card and your membership, David, your membership number. So yeah, I mean, I'm collecting them for work reasons and because also I want to give them to my sons one day. So I like kits. I think they're a cultural moment. And yeah. But this is it feels small this year. It feels small, this one. Like it just, I mean, I'll show you right now anyway. I'll go to the blank. Where's the big blank screen? There we go. There we go. There's a nice kit. I love the detail that it's got to look very nice on the players. Over to Akanji for what it's worth. So the Akanji rumours are a little bit less mainstream. So I don't know who Metin Hunter is. A journalist who says, breaking news, agreement reached with Manuel Akanji, transfer negotiations with City. If this transfer happens, will be at Champions League level. I mean, they don't really, do they know? You know that meme, do they know? I don't know about that, lads. He's not quite there anymore as he used to be. Let me try and find some more Akanji news. Here we go. This fella, whoever he is, it's another paid tick like myself, of course, I can't deny it. Galatasaray reaches agreement with Manuel Akanji. The City set to let go a key player, currently at City. Okay, that's another person suggesting it. Anyone else suggested it? Oh, by the way, there's also the Grealish potentially going to West Ham news, which is interesting. I saw that, and I think he'd fancy a little bit of time in London. Interesting. I did not see the super chat. So sorry, mate. I absolutely forgot about that. Apologies. Rickles, yesterday, forgot about Kevin Sullivan, future mid. Yeah, well, I'm not. I mean this with the greatest respect, Rickles. Thank you so much for the super chat, but I'm not taking Kevin Sullivan seriously until he's of an age that we could take him seriously. He's got a long time to go to get to Manchester City, and what is he? He's 15 years old. He's playing in the American League. It's not a training ground for City. He'll be 18 by the time he joins City, so it's a long time away for Sullivan. Yes, if he started in the MLS, like if he's going to be City's level, he should be the best player in the MLS at 18 years old. I'm not even exaggerating. That should be the level. Like you're going to have to be an absolute superstar in the MLS to be City's level by 18 years old. I don't think that's unrealistic because I would expect the same of any City Academy player. I expect them to be standouts, like absolute elite level players in the MLS. But yeah, you're all right. He looks a very talented player. We'll see how it goes. Pete, thank you very much. Says, why do you think Ederson wants to leave? Well, in your opinion, well, I've answered that anyway, Pete, I guess for you, mate. I think he's just sort of done in Manchester right now, mate. I think we're at the point where he wants to move on. I think he's been here an awful long time. I think he fancies warmer climates, a beach potentially. I do feel we're at the point where he's sort of done everything he can do. He's not really happy, being here for much longer. I think the money was tempting for Saudi, but now he wants to change the scenery. And I think there was also a little bit of negativity around the fans and his wife and so on. And I think there's something to do with that, mate. I think largely it's just his time. It's just his time, really. The Gundogan thing would be good as well, but it seems to be Ederson and Akanji currently getting. I think I'd rather Ederson and Akanji move on than Gundogan. Gundogan maybe, Akanji definitely. I think Akanji. I think his form has dipped hugely. Akanji had a really good spell, of course, a big part of the treble. Playing it right back in the Champions League final, formed a really good partnership with the centre backs alongside him. And for all intents and purposes, has been a cracking signing for what, £14 million, an absolute bargain. But I think sometimes you get what you pay for. I do feel like he's another that post treble has had a little bit of a malaise. Like there was times last season where he felt like he was always at the scene of the crime. Not a bad player by any stretch of the imagination, but the amount of times I saw him jog back or just lose a challenge or whatever, it felt like he's always there when something was going wrong. And like, I feel like Akanji now. How old's Akanji once again? He's 30. Akanji is 29. He's 30 tomorrow. There we go. He's 30 years old tomorrow. Akanji. He's at the point now where, like, I think he's not going to start, and I would rather see the likes of Stones, Ake, Akanji move on, even being honest, because I want to see a path cleared for these three talented centre-backs that we've got. Two at the club already, Kusanov and Vitor Reis, and then potentially Juma Bar joining as well in a year or two. I want to see them have a pathway opened up, and I think, if I'm being honest with you, I think Akanji was far, far too sloppy at times last season for his own good. So I would much rather him, move on right now and go spread his wings elsewhere. It's one of those things. I'm a bit surprised he's leaving because Pep is obsessed with him, but at the same time, I actually do think Pep's deferred to Hugo Viana and co. Guardiola said something around winter when we were struggling that he was the one that personally resisted a big old refresh when Cheeky and the board actually wanted to do that. People forget that, by the way. Everyone goes on at Cheeky, but Guardiola said he was the one. No. I like my squad, and I think Guardiola, as part of that, he said he accepted that the rebuild needs to happen, and he's going to let the team do what they want. And I think Guardiola, as much as he keeps some of these players, I also think Guardiola is sort of trusting in Hugo Viana, who's come in to move on these players. He's come in to refresh the squad and go forward. I think Guardiola will keep him, but I think Guardiola goes, you're the boss. And he is the boss in terms of rebuilding the squad. So, yeah, I think they're taking the matter out of his hands, which is how it should be, because Pep, by his own admission, got it wrong. And I think he's very aware that he's very close to these players, and maybe he trusts them a bit too much. We forget as well that Guardiola did say that he felt like the players were too young and all this kind of stuff for young lads to put into pressure situations, people like O'Reilly and McAtee. But he realised actually when you play these young players, because they're a high quality club, they often don't sink, they swim because they are ridiculously good footballers. And I think he's learned actually that some of these guys, you got to trust them. I trust him to an extent, and I do feel like he's taking his lessons from that, and I think now is the time for him to move on. I would be very happy to see him move on. That sounds awful. I'm not happy to see great players go, but I'm happy that City are making the right moves to bring the next players in. I don't want to see Kusanov or Reis move on. I want it to be Akanji, because they are the future, and these guys are the past. So it's one of those things where Akanji, thanks for your time. Ederson, thanks for your time. Even Gundogan to an extent. But I think it is time to move on now. We at some point you just have to let it go. Let it go. Who's expecting that when you clicked on this video? Yeah. That I can safely say no one's ever wore this shirt and sang "Let It Go" on a YouTube video. Do you ever do things and think that's the first time everyone's ever done that in history? I know for a fact no one's probably ever wore this kit on a live YouTube video and sang "Let It Go." There we go. First ever time, an exclusive for the channel, exclusive for the world. But yeah, I think this is common sense. I think we have to move on. And deadwood is the wrong phrase because it's a bit harsh, but the tired wood, I would argue, not quite dead, but tired wood. The ones that are injury prone, the ones that maybe have switched off, the ones that have shown interest in moving. If they're showing interest in moving, it's time for them to go, in my person. City, let it go, exactly, yeah. Guys, it's not going to be the longest video in the world. I'm going to leave it there, but I will be back tomorrow with another video, almost certainly. Check out the video about Sver Halsef Nipan yesterday. It should be a very good signing, potentially Gundogan replacement in the future. What does this mean, by the way, for Akanji? If he's exit, I think one of Stones or Ake will probably go, by the way. Diaz, Vardiel, first choice centre-backs. Vitor, Reis, Kusanov, backups. I like it, man. I like it. Maybe one of Ederson, Ake and Stone stays. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Guys, thanks for watching this video. Give it a like, and I'll see you all very soon for another video. Up the Blues.